In 2010, the Board of School Trustees made the decision to remodel Central Middle School. You either had to do something with it or come up with unfortunate, drastic decisions that fortunately they didn't do. And they said, no, let's come up with a plan to restore the school and improve it. So the last 5 years have been spent primarily restoring and remodeling the 1914 portion of the building. That's where we're going to tour. There are a few things that haven't been remodeled, a couple stairwells that are in a future phase, but for the most part, the 1914 building, right in time for the centennial, has been completely remodeled. And we're going to show you the whole building, but we're going to start here, talk a little bit about the auditorium. The auditorium was the biggest undertaking because of the amount of work that went into it. And the architects, originally in 2010, they weren't sure they were going to even restore it. In 2012, we came to the decision that we wanted to not only remodel this, but we wanted to restore it and take it back to its 1914 vaudevillian theater. This was here. And so we worked on the designs, and I'll tell you, it took 2 years to restore this. Some of the stuff you see is original. Much of it is a reproduction. And the reason for that is late 60s, early 70s, the theater was restored, remodeled, and some people call it remodeling, right? When you destroy the original things and make it modern. And that's what happened. And so if you look about 3 feet above the balcony railing, they put a ceiling in. Okay? And they stripped everything above it. Now, the frame existed, but they stripped all the plaster. They took out the skylights, most of them, covered them up, and everything was gone. So what you had was a lecture hall. They put a little tongue stage that stuck out, and the seating went way around like this. So I guess what they needed in the 70s, but definitely a complete remodel. The one thing that when we started the project, we weren't sure what was behind the wall. When we took the wall, the remodeled wall down, the original proscenium arch was still there. It was just covered up. So the arch that you see with the plaster, all original. So we're really excited about that. 6 months of the work came from the plaster because you just don't find plaster artists anymore. You know, and we had copies of the original blueprints, but the details were often vague. And where sometimes the small pencil marks didn't copy very well. We didn't know exactly what some of the details looked like. In about 2012, the architect that was down in the basement in a corner looking for a way to run vents found some old scrolls of paper and found the original blueprints. So we have the original blueprints. That became our blueprint, if you will, for restoring. So the plaster was put back original, the original design of the plaster. The opaque motif figures were the original architect's drawings. We worked with an artist to carve those and to reproduce those out of plaster. Plaster artists, they put a temporary floor up, and they worked on the ceiling for over 6 months. The original, there's one thing that isn't original in 1914, it's the lights. Because there weren't lights originally, the lights were added just a few years after that. Very few years after. Originally it was only natural light with the skylights and a system of reflectors that brought the light in and filled the skylights. The skylights are the original design with plaster around them. If you want to see the original ones, we found some of them when we were restoring it. These are reproductions, and fortunately we worked with the Kokomo opalescent glass, and they made the glass that's in the ceiling you see today. Then it came time for the lighting, and we didn't have the original lighting, but we had some very, very vague pictures of the lighting, and we worked with an artist from Michigan, just west of Ann Arbor, Terry Jefferson, and he's here tonight.
I thought that sort of looks like a great cluster. And the fixture probably had twice as many, but you were only looking at one side of it. So I looked again through all my period catalogs and found a photograph of this original chandelier, which was like perfectly drawn. And I sent it to the architect, and they totally agreed that that had to be it.
And at this time, I would say this is with great pleasure that Gibraltar Design offers this as a gift to the Kokomo School Corporation Board of Trustees for this dedication bell to celebrate the centennial anniversary of Kokomo High School and Kokomo Central Middle International School. And this building is certainly poised to serve another 100 years, another century for Kokomo School Corporation. Please enjoy.